Hello, my name is Don Elliott, and I'm a director with Clarion Associates, which is the prime consulting firm assisting Fairfax County on an ambitious project called zMOD. zMOD has two parts: to modernize all of the land uses available in Fairfax County, and that substance of that work was completed last summer and will go forward to the Board of Supervisors for action later this year. The second part was to reorganize, illustrate, and reword in plain English all the rest of the zoning ordinance to make it easier to understand and to use. This video focuses on the third and final installment of that reorganization work, and it focuses on administration, procedures, and enforcement. How the county operates the zoning ordinance, not the substance, but the procedures behind it. And that work appears in two articles. Article 1 is basic legal boilerplate as to the authority the county has to zone and how this relates to other areas of law. I would call your attention to the updates in purpose statements for the entire zoning ordinance, which have been revised to include the concepts of equitability and placemaking, which are important planning goals for the county. The bulk of the work in administration and procedures appears in Article 8, which covers things like what are the review procedures, who decides, what do you have to submit with an application, what fee will be charged, and how does the county enforce its zoning ordinance. Things that you may be familiar with, like special exceptions and special permits, minor variances and major variances, they all appear here. Two kind of overall changes are that we took all the things that are repeated over and over again for different types of application and put them in a section called General Requirements for All Applications to avoid repetition. A similar thing was done on submission requirements, the lists of things you have to submit in order to have an application processed. There was a lot of repetition and a lot of overlap. Those have been consolidated and put in one place so that we can avoid repeating over and over again what those are. One detail change I'd like to call your attention to is what needs to be submitted when you apply for an accessory dwelling unit. The current ordinance requires 2 letters from doctors saying that you are permanently and totally disabled. The new proposed change is that you would need to be either over 55 or disabled as it's defined in the Federal Fair Housing Act and as documented by either a doctor or a government agency. In addition, while the current zoning ordinance only requires large utility easements to be shown on applications, the proposed change is to require all utility easements to be shown because history shows that if you don't show the little easements, a lot of design and layout work has to be done again when you discover those easements. In addition, we are updating the ordinance to require that only 1 copy of a document needs to be submitted if it's submitted online. And we have a placeholder for updated application and processing fees, because in the future, those fees will vary by the type of use being applied for, because that determines how much effort is going to be required to review that type of application. This third and final installment of the reorganization work is now being integrated with all of the other work that has happened with the county over the past 2.5 years into a consolidated draft. We urge you to read and comment on all of these materials. It's important for the future of Fairfax County, and in the coming months, this consolidated draft will move forward for consideration by the Planning Commission and then by the Board of Supervisors as a replacement for the current county zoning ordinance. Thanks for your attention.